Friends, it's good to see you. Iris, thank you for sharing how you're doing. I hope that you're feeling better. It's good to see you back. Yes, Barbara, you just shared what I was going to open with. For those who don't know, just now, six bodies of hostages were just recovered from Gaza, one of whom we thought was alive. And that's where we begin. We can't send our hearts to the east without feeling our hearts in the east, in these moments, broken. Thank God for the ability that we now have to treat all of those 6 human beings with the dignity that they deserved, for their families to know where they are, to take care of them. And so I want to dedicate today's Torah to the memories of Avraham Munder, Dancyg, Yagev Buchshtav, Chaim Peri, Yoram Metzger, and Nadav Popplewell. Their eyes in the photo that I'm looking at on the Times of Israel, and I hope that you'll take the time to go to the Times of Israel and to look at their faces. These are our fathers. These are our brothers. These are our husbands. These are our friends. May they rest in peace. You know, it's hard to keep on keeping on. It's hard to not only see this, so much so that there are times where I find myself not even looking. And I know that that's human. I'm saying it out loud so that we can all reflect on it. How impossible this moment is. 319 days in. And people say 319 days into the war. That's not what this experience is. It's 319 days since this happened to us. During those days, there has been a war. But on October 7th, these 6 men were taken from their homes and from their families violently by terrorists. That's what we're counting. We're not counting days of war. The war is to get them home. This is not how we wanted them home. We wanted them home to be held and hugged and loved so they could see how the entire Jewish world has been thinking of them, praying for them, fighting for them, dedicating Torah to them. That's not what I planned on talking about today. But I see their eyes. And that could have been me. That could have been you. God forbid. I want to say their names one more time, and then I'm going to move into some Torah. But this is where, at least this is where my heart is, and I share it with you. May the memories of Avraham Munder and Dancyg, Yagev Buchshtav, Chaim Peri, Yoram Metzger, and Nadav Popplewell be for a blessing. May we redouble our efforts to be a loving family and to fight for our home. Not fight for war, but fight for our loved ones. The difference is crucial. The difference is ethical. And in their names, in these beautiful men's honor, I promise to work harder, to be a good person, to be a better father, to be a better husband, to be a good man, and to be a faithful child of Am Yisrael. Okay. Wow, that was more than I thought was going to happen right when we started. But this is what life is. This is what life is. There's a lot more to talk about, but that might have been everything. I'm going to try to pivot, friends. But if I could invite you, promise to yourself, promise to do one kind act today in their memory. Promise to share good news as Deborah just did, that her second son, Jeremy, and his longtime girlfriend, who joined the tribe a few months ago, Essie, they got engaged yesterday in Portugal. Your second daughter-in-law to be. Deborah, mazel tov to you. Don't leave that behind either. In everything that we are holding, what a gift it is, friends, to have good news. Mazel tov, Deborah. Thank you for giving us that gift. Thank you for giving me that gift. One kind act today in memory, and do another kind act in honor of the Mazel Tov. Let's talk a little Torah. It's Parshat Yagev. And we spoke yesterday about consequences for actions. That's what the Parsha really does begin with. Yagev tishma'un. When you listen, presuming we will, which you and I both know we don't, but we should. So when we do the right thing, it'll go well for us in the land. That's what the Torah promises. And yes, it's clear that there's a divine calculus that doesn't quite follow that pattern. There are plenty of good people for whom that promise doesn't become true. That's a conversation for another time. But let's work within the Parsha's promise. Listen to what happens. You might know these words. Ve'achalta v'savata uveirachta et Adonai Elohecha al ha'aretz hatova asher natan lach. We say this every time we do Birkat Hamazon, the brachot, the blessings after a meal, where when it goes well for us, we'll have enough. When we have enough, this is what the verse says. This is chapter 8, verse 10 of Devarim. And when you have eaten your fill, and when you are satisfied, you will bless God, your God, for the good land that God has given you. Now, why? Listen to how the verses continue. I'm just going to read a little bit more and make one point for today. Hishamer lecha, be careful, lest you forget your God, and fail to keep the divine commandments, the rules and laws which I command you today. Because when you have eaten your fill and have built fine houses to live in, and your herds and flocks have multiplied, and your silver and gold have increased, and everything you own has prospered, beware. Viram levavecha. Be careful, your heart can grow haughty. And you forget God, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage, who led you through the great terrible wilderness with seraphim, serpents, and scorpions, a parched land with no water in it, fed you wilderness with manna, brought water from a flinty rock. Careful, because you might say to yourself, this is verse 17, V'amarta bilvavecha. Not that you would say it out loud, but you might even say in your own heart, Kochi v'otzem yadi asali et achayel hazeh. My own power, my own might, the might of my hand, have won this wealth for me. No. 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 There is something larger than self at play in our lives. I don't know your theologies. There is no dogmatic test. We don't have to agree about God. But I would encourage us to agree about something really central, not only to Judaism, but to mindful practice, which is the recognition that yes, we are called to work hard. Yes, there are gifts in our lives that we are called to wield. Some of us are doctors, some of us are painters, some of us fix pipes, some of us are rabbis, some of us are lawyers. We are called to wield the gifts that we have been given and the training that we work with, and every ounce of strength we can offer. We are called to do all of that, but it's not me that got me where I am. I didn't choose to be born to the wonderful parents that I have. I didn't choose to be born in a moment where, despite it all, it's the best moment to be alive as a Jew in the world, in history. I didn't choose to meet the love of my life when she came to perform in Berkeley, California many years ago. I didn't choose so many facets of my life. I was placed here. I was born in a moment. The circumstances are bigger than me. And so if I say to myself, let's use a very close to home example, friends. Look what I've done about anything, including this gorgeous broadcast. Well, what if you weren't here? What would the point be? How great would 1,119 mornings looking at my screen be if you weren't here? If Mark Meaden hadn't suggested that we create an online community? If I hadn't been given the permission, the trust of UJA to go off script? If you hadn't, for some reason, chosen to tune in? If we hadn't created these friendships? This is a we moment. And deep in my heart, I know God is here too. Wiping my tears, yours too. Feeling what we feel, amplified, giving us whatever kind of comfort we can receive, encouraging us. Is that something I can touch? No, it doesn't work like that. Can I snap my fingers and suddenly everyone who deserves to be saved is instantly saved? It doesn't work like that. But I know God is here with us. And I know everything I am blessed to do in my life, and I hope you have this feeling too, blessed to do in our lives. It's bigger than us. I saw a great model of that humility in President Biden speaking last night, whatever your politics, to acknowledge that he's done his best. He said, America, I gave you my best. I found that to be incredibly, incredibly connected to this idea. Because look at what he's accomplished, and yet it's a Moses moment in American politics to see someone who will not see the end of the project, not as president, no matter what happens, but who knows that the mission goes on beyond him. He said, I love the job. I love my country more. What a moving thing to hear someone say, to hear someone who wields power say. This verse that I just read, I want to read one more time to you. Be careful. You could succeed so much and have a nice house and have more than you need. You could say in your own heart, even if you wouldn't say it out loud, you could say it. Kochi ve'otzem yadi, my strength, the strength of my hand, asa li et hachayil hazeh, won this wealth for me. I mean, it is true, you can't take it with you, but you can think that you made it for yourself, and that is not how things work. It's not how things work. We are called in this parsha to be humble, and I would encourage us to explore what humility means, where it belongs in the world. And I would encourage us also to consider that it should be a criteria for the people we look to for answers. Be they clergy, be they elected officials. Humility matters. You have to wield power. You have to wield it with willingness. And therefore you need to have some of an ego. That's true. I can do this. That's an ego statement. It's not pride. It's not haughty. I can do this. Think about what Moses must have felt when he was called. He didn't want to. I don't think I can. And eventually, he just had to stop arguing that he couldn't do it and do it. Standing in front of the sea. He complains to God, and God says, "Why are you talking to me? Go take care of it." Well, you and I may not be able to split the sea, but we've got work to do. We have a family to bring home. We have our own hearts to take care of. We have our children and next generations to build a world for. We do not do this with our own power alone, but we are given the privilege and responsibilities of this moment. So I want to bless us. I want to bless me, and I want to bless you, that we take this moment and we reflect with everything we've got on the gifts we've been given, the circumstance into which we've been born, and we decide what good we can do today. One kind act, at least, in memory of Avraham Munder and Alex Dancyg and Yagev Buchshtav and Chaim Peri and Yoram Metzger and Nadav Popplewell. Strength from their heart straight through ours into the world. And at least one kind act in honor of Deborah's son, who is about to get married. May we be blessed, friends. May we remember that we've been given an incredible opportunity by being alive to do good for somebody else today. Bless you, friends. Bless you. Let's send our hearts to the east. As you think about the good you're going to do today, let's send our hearts to the east with one pure thought. Bring them home now. Kol hod balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia od lo avda tikvateinu hatikva bat shnot alpayim להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends. Take care.